Alright, listen up, because today we are talking about a moment so ridiculous, so utterly defy the laws of physics absurd, that if it weren't caught on camera from 17 different angles, you'd swear it was a fever dream. We are talking about Tay goal. The one where everyone, literally everyone from the commentators to the opposing goalie, was convinced there was no earthly way the ball could end up in the net. They said impossible. They said ridiculous. They said, is that guy even allowed to do that? And then, he scored. Let's rewind and break down how the impossible became reality. Our hero, or villain depending on who you ask, is Marco the Magician Rossi. Now, Marco isn't known for being a showboater. He's more of a quiet assassin on the field, deadly precise, but usually within the bounds of normal human capability. Until this game. He'd had a solid, if unspectacular, season leading up to this moment. Nobody was expecting him to pull a rabbit out of a hat, let alone a whole zoo. This wasn't a fluke, it was a cosmic alignment of skill, circumstance, and perhaps a tiny bit of dark magic. Let's just say his highlight reel got a major upgrade that day. The stage was set, Old Trafford, a packhouse, a derby match against our fiercest rivals, Juventus. Scoreline: a nail-biting, stomach-churning 0-0. Clock ticking down, less than 2 minutes left on the board. The tension was so thick you could cut it with a butter knife, and probably get yelled at for bringing a butter knife into a stadium. We were pushing for a winner, desperate. Every pass felt heavier, every tackle more impactful. The air was charged, ready to explode with either ecstasy or despair. This wasn't just a game, it was a legend in the making. The ball, a humble sphere of polyurethane and dreams, squirted out of a midfield scramble. A hopeful punt forward. It wasn't a perfect pass, not by a long shot. More of a hey, you want this? Kind of pass. But Marco, always sniffing out opportunity, was already there. He sprinted, his eyes locked on the bouncing orb, 3 Juventus defenders descending like a flock of very angry pigeons. This wasn't going to be a clean shot. This was going to be a scramble, a tussle, or I hope I don't break my ankle kind of moment. The odds were already stacked against him. Marco collects the ball, but is immediately pushed wide, almost to the byline. We are talking centimeters from going out of play. His angle to the goal? Well, let's just say it was less an angle and more a mathematical impossibility. From where he was, the goal looked like a sliver, a postage stamp. The keeper, Buffon, a legend in his own right, had his near post covered like it was Fort Knox. 2 defenders were already draped over Marco like cheap curtains. This wasn't a scoring opportunity, it was a please don't lose the ball situation. A normal player would just cross it or cut back. Marco is not normal. As Marco tries to shift his weight, a defender gets a hand, a shoulder, something on him. He stumbles. He's falling. He's literally mid-fall when he makes contact with the ball. Now, for us mere mortals, falling usually means tripping, flailing, and maybe a gentle faceplant. For Marco, it meant optimizing his body for an impossible shot. His body is contorted, his foot isn't planted, his balance is non-existent. It defies every coaching manual, every biomechanical principle. He's basically trying to kick a football while simultaneously auditioning for Cirque du Soleil. So, how do you even strike a ball with power and precision when you're collapsing? Marco's genius, or sheer lunacy, was in the contact point. Instead of driving through the ball, he almost scoops it. Using the outside of his boot, with an almost impossible flick of the ankle, he catches the ball perfectly on its underside. This isn't just a kick, it's a perfectly timed, delicate yet powerful caress. It's like trying to thread a needle while riding a unicycle downhill. The goal requires an immense amount of lower body strength, core stability, and frankly, a disregard for personal safety. The moment the ball leaves Marco's boot, it's not a straight shot. Oh no, that would be too easy. It immediately begins to bend, an incredible, almost cartoonish curve that defies belief. It starts going away from the goal, then hooks back in, an arc so pronounced it looks like it's been pulled by an invisible string. This banana shot requires a combination of spin and velocity, a true masterclass in the Magnus effect. It's the kind of curve that makes goalkeepers reconsider their life choices and physics professors furiously scribble on whiteboards. Even Buffon, the legendary keeper, was left grasping at thin air. He was perfectly positioned, covering his near post, exactly where any logical shot from that angle asterisk should asterisk go. But Marco's shot had other ideas. The initial trajectory drew Buffon one way, then the curve pulled the ball back into the far top corner, the only sliver of space available. It's almost like Marco intentionally aimed for Buffon's blind spot, exploiting the human reaction time and the sheer unpredictability of the ball's movement. It was a cruel, beautiful, and utterly brilliant deception. And let's not forget the defenders. Not one, not two, but three Juventus players were desperately trying to block, tackle, or just generally annoy Marco out of existence. They were practically breathing down his neck. One even threw himself to the ground in a desperate lunge, trying to block the potential cross. His lunge, however, inadvertently created an even asterisk smaller asterisk window for the shot to pass through, a gap that seemed physically impossible for a ball to navigate. It was like trying to thread a basketball through a keyhole. And yet, through it went. In moments like these, time isn't just a concept, it's a rubber band. For Marco, it probably felt like an eternity, every millisecond a conscious decision. For the fans, it was a collective intake of breath, a silent prayer. For the commentators, it was a moment of stunned disbelief before they erupted. The ball seemed to hang in the air, mocking gravity, teasing fate, almost winking at the camera. You could almost hear the whoosh as it cut through the air, defying every expectation laid upon it. This wasn't just a shot, it was a slow-motion cinematic masterpiece. And then, the sound. Not a thud, not a clang, but a glorious, satisfying asterisk swish asterisk as the ball nestled into the very top corner of the net, completely out of Buffon's reach. The sheer audacity of it. The precision. The fact that it went in. It was a goal that didn't just find the net, it found a new home in the annals of football history. The net rippled, a beautiful, violent shaking that announced to the world that the impossible had just been unceremoniously, gloriously, utterly achieved. Silence, then pandemonium. The stadium, initially silent in disbelief, exploded. It wasn't just a roar, it was a primal scream of joy, relief, and sheer, unadulterated shock. Fans were hugging strangers, players were mobbing Marco, and even the coaching staff looked like they'd just seen a ghost, high-fiving each other with wide, manic grins. The Juventus players, meanwhile, collapsed to the ground, disbelief etched on their faces. You could almost see their brains buffering, trying to process what had just happened. It was a moment of pure, raw, emotional chaos that makes sports so utterly captivating. Let's break this down frame by frame, because a normal speed simply doesn't do justice. Watch Marco's body here. The way his falling momentum is actually asterisk used asterisk to generate power. See the contact point again, that delicate flick of the ankle. And then the ball, observe that spin, that incredible curve that starts wide and then tucks itself into the postage stamp. It's a ballet of physics, biomechanics, and sheer audacity. Every microdecision, every muscle twitch, perfectly aligned in a sequence that's more likely to happen once in a blue moon than on a football pitch. The post-match analysis was just as wild as the goal itself. Pundits, usually so articulate, were reduced to sputtering. "I've never seen anything like it," one veteran exclaimed. It defied logic. It defied geometry. It defied everything. Another suggested that maybe Marco had a remote control in his boot. The common consensus was that it was a fluke, a one-in-a-million shot that could never be replicated. But deep down, you could tell they were just as mesmerized as everyone else. It challenged their understanding of the game, and that, my friends, is a beautiful thing. In the post-match interview, everyone expected Marco to talk about luck or divine intervention. Instead, with a sly grin, he just shrugged. "I saw the gap," he said. "It was small, yes. But a gap is a gap." Classic Marco. No grand declarations, no dramatic speeches. Just a matter-of-fact acknowledgement of what he'd done, as if scoring a physically impossible goal while falling over was just another Tuesday for him. The interviewer was practically shaking with excitement. Marco, cool as a cucumber. The true mark of a legend, perhaps, making the impossible look utterly effortless. That goal didn't just win a game, it broke records and shattered expectations. It immediately entered the conversation for goal of the season, goal of the decade, and quite possibly, goal of the century. It's still dissected, analyzed, and replayed constantly. Every young footballer now tries to replicate the Rossi goal in training, usually ending up tangled in the net or kicking the ball into orbit. It set a new bar for what we thought was humanly possible on a football pitch. It's a testament to skill, vision, and a little bit of why not attitude. So, what does Marco Rossi's impossible goal teach us? It's not just about football, it's about pushing boundaries. It's about looking at a situation everyone else calls hopeless and finding that tiny, almost invisible sliver of opportunity. It's about the audacity to try, even when all the odds, all the physics, all the seasoned professionals are screaming that it can't be done. This goal isn't just a highlight reel moment, it's a philosophical statement. The impossible isn't a fact, it's just an opinion waiting to be proven wrong. What's your impossible goal? At the end of the day, whether you believe it was pure genius, incredible luck, or an actual glitch in the matrix, Marco Rossi's goal stands as a monumental achievement. It reminds us that sometimes, against all calculations, against all expert opinions, and against all physical laws, magic happens. And when it does, it's nothing short of breathtaking. What was your favorite moment from this breakdown? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more impossible moments, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the extraordinary. Stay awesome.